Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm going to stick with my theme that I've been going with on my field reviews, and I'm going to review the ESEE PR-4 today. If you've noticed, I'm going in sizes from the smallest to the largest, so that'll give you an idea of what the next one's going to be. Well, I'm out here in the backyard again. Things have changed drastically, as you can tell from the last video I did. Let me give you a look at what we got. About 8.5 to 9 inches of snow overnight. So, wow, what extreme to the other. Last Friday it was 65, 66 degrees, in the upper 60s. And then this Friday, today, the high was 17. So, yeah, that's all I can say is just yeah. Well, I'm out here in the shelter, as you can see behind me. I've got the wood stove fired up. This thing is cranking some heat. And Joe, just to let you know, yes, the Mylar makes a world of difference once you get it going and keep it going for a little while. So, let's jump into this. I'm not going to go into a lot of specs on the PR-4. I've got a video on it. You can check it out and see all the specs and so forth. Basically what I'm going to do is I am going to get it out here. We're going to beat on it, carve with it, feather stick, talk about it a little bit, and go from there. So with that being said, let me get you turned around here where we can see everything. Oh, this is what I've got. I think, looking at the outside of it, I think this is a piece of golden willow. But that's what we're going to work with. So let's see what we can get done here. Either we can tear up a piece of wood or we'll tear up a blade, one or the other. How's that? The PR-4 is not a full flat. It is a real high saber, which lends it to batoning wood very well for such a small blade. I'm partial to saber grind for that very reason, more so than I am a flat. But hey, you make do with what you got. I've got a combination of both. I've got some sabers, I've got some flats as well. If you are familiar with ESEE, you know that those are their two favorites, are full flats or sabers. So, as you can see, it batons, no problem. Oh. Some of these are very thin. Oh, let's get them off here to see if I can. There we go. Now, let's see if I can get some fine curls. I think those will work for fine curls. while we're doing this, and I've got those here, let's talk about one thing. According to the website, this thing comes with a 90-degree spine. It does. It'll scrape a ferro rod. But that being said, when you compare the spine on this to, say, the spine on an LT right, there's night and day difference. The spine is a whole lot sharper on the LT right. Now, I'm not sure if they've done that for a reason on this knife, so that when you get your thumb up on the back of it, you don't hurt your finger. I don't know if that's part of the reason, but this stuff is wet. The stump is. Let's see if we can get this thing to spark. It's really damp out here, so I wasn't sure if that would take or not. Oh, it ain't gonna take. It's too damp. But as you can see, it'll scrape a ferro rod. Just that little bit of it laying on that top of that damp stump, it absorbed enough moisture that it wouldn't do anything. Oh, let's see. Pop that down just a little bit more. Oh. You can hog big pieces of wood off with this knife. No problem. As you can see. Or oh, let's see. Notches are not a problem. This knife does extremely well for detail work. I've been very, let me throw a little bit of wood on here. I've been very impressed with it when it comes to carving and notches and stuff like that. It is very comfortable. It gets kind of a bad rap because the handles are so thin, and when I first got it, I kind of thought, you know, those are awful thin. I don't know how comfortable this is going to be. I have found that it doesn't cause any issues. Hands don't hurt after using it long periods of time, And the other thing I've found is it indexes very, very well. You can grab that with your eyes closed and you automatically know which way the blade's turned because of the thickness of the handles. You automatically know whether it's up, down, left, right, whatever. The Rocky Mountain tread. You either love it or you hate it, one or the other. And it is a little different feeling in the hand, but I like it. When your hands are wet or anything like that, I don't have any issues with it. It doesn't cause hot spots, anything at all like that. So I like the Rocky Mountain tread. If I could suggest anything on this, if they would just put a thin liner behind these and give it just a little bit more width, not much, that would make a world of difference. But overall, for what it's designed for as a bushcraft knife, it is a kind of a modern take, I guess, on the Keppard knife. For what it's designed for, it does really, really well. The spear point on this, I wasn't a big fan of it until I got this knife. And then the more I've used this knife, the more I have liked it. It really lends itself to when you're doing a bow drill. Right. It lends itself very well to making your starting divot for a bow drill. Small, thin pieces of wood, you could take that and actually bore a hole all the way through if you had to. But the more I've used the spear point, then I also have the laser strike, which is a spear point. The more I've used the spear point, the more I've come to like it. So everybody has their own personal preference on points, but that's something to consider when you're out doing this kind of stuff. If you're going to do a lot of bow drills, it comes in really, really handy. I'm not a big fan of scraping with the back of a knife to get tender, and I know some people are. One of the reasons I don't like it is if you're scraping something that has a lot of sap in it, I have found that sap will build up on the back of the knife, and then when you go to try and scrape a ferrule rod, it won't scrape as well. So you have to sometimes clean that off to get your your ferrule rod to work very well. Now, the sheath. Let's talk about the sheath. This knife comes with a leather sheath. I had to buy a second one, and the reason I bought the second one, this is not the original, is because I'm left-handed. That is my only complaint about leather sheaths, is when you buy a knife with a leather sheath, very seldom do you ever get to buy one that's for a left-handed person. And you can't convert a leather sheath over from a right-handed to a left-handed very easily. So what I did is I took my original sheath, cut the belt loop off, fixed it to where I can still use the original sheath as a pocket sheath, stick that in there, just drop it in my pocket. Then went and ordered a left-handed sheath from ESEE. They sell the sheaths by themselves. You can get them through Smoky Mountain Knife Works, several other different places. I just got this one through Smoky Mountain. I was down that way and just picked it up. And what I've done with this one, it come from here to here at an angle. And I found that when that was in there, it come right across there, up to right there. There didn't leave a whole lot of handle sticking out. So what I did is I come down, cut it straight across at a 90, and then took that piece out of it. I can get 3 fingers on that knife while it's still in the sheath and pull it out. And that's made it, to me, a whole lot easier to get out of the leather sheath. But overall, for a 4-inch blade that is a little over 1/8 of an inch thick, just like the SE3, it will take a beating. You can beat the living crap out of it, as you've seen. If you go back and check some of my other videos, I've done the same thing with it. I did a weak hand fire starting video where I had my left hand broke and had to do everything right-handed, and I used the PR-4 then to baton down all my wood and to feather sticks, ferro rod, all that, and got the fire started with my weak hand and the PR-4. So definitely go back and check out some of those videos if you want to know more about it. I've got a good tabletop video on it that talks about the hardness and the steel and all that kind of stuff. So go back and check that out. If you want, feel free to share the video on the Bushcraft gathering. If you haven't seen it, go back a couple of videos. It's there. It is going to happen the first weekend of April. And if you want to share it, by all means, share it. The more people that see it, the more people that'll show up, hopefully. I did find out that KTBA, that's putting on the Trade Fest, their guest speaker for Saturday night after the potluck dinner is going to be Keith from Season 7 alone. He is the gentleman that was from Kentucky, just outside of Sturgis, that competed in Season 7. So he's going to be our guest speaker there for the Trade Fest, and we're welcome to come to it as well. So it should be a good time. Well, I will get another video up for you soon. I have went through the Azula 2, SE3, the PR-4, so that means the next one is going to be the Laser Strike. It is, in size, it falls between the PR-4 and the SE5. So next video will be a field review on the Laser Strike. So everyone, stay safe, enjoy the weather, like, share, subscribe. I'll get another one up for you soon.